Big day planned for you as we go down the road. And I want to thank Tyler Axness for sitting in this chair for me on Friday. I hope you took in the show. But Dr. Avish Nagpal is going to join us. He is the head of the North Dakota Health Department. We'll talk to him about where we are with vaccines and the new variants when it comes to COVID. We're going to get a chance to talk about Wayne Stengham today. Whether or not he's hiding, whether or not, well, quite frankly, he's like 0 for 4 in big cases. So we'll visit about that. Shannon McQuade's going to join us. That's right. Shannon McQuade-Ely is going to join us, and she is the head of the McQuade Tournament, something that's been nothing but a blast for years. Played in it a number of times. But first, Dr. Rupak Gandhi joins us. He is the head of the Fargo Public School System, which means he's the head of a big one. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Gandhi, good to have you on News and Views.
Great to be here. Thank you for having me.
I keep using my radio name, instead of down the road, so I apologize for that. It's two different mediums, so oftentimes you slip, and I've said down the road on the radio a whole bunch of times. So I just want you to know what you're on, okay?
No problem. For what it's worth, I think my face is better suited for radio anyway. So
if I had $10 for every time since I started this job that was said, I'd be retired by now. Dr. Gandhi, we're talking about COVID, funds that have been provided to the Fargo Public School System. ESSER cares. What does that stand for? What is ESSER all about?
I believe ESSER stands for the Emergency Student and Education Relief Act funds. These are federal funds that have been allocated to school districts to be able to provide for help return to in-person instruction, and we're already there, or continuity of service and to address learning gaps. So the funds have come into primarily 3 different buckets of ESSER 1, ESSER 2, and ESSER 3 dollars that school districts can use to address learning loss and to make sure that we can create a safe environment for all of our students moving forward.
Now, does this helps you with positions? And I want to be clear about this because, Fargo, Bismarck, Minot, Williston, towns like that end up being towns that students who need extra help migrate to. I mean, they do. You end up picking a lot of pieces up for some rural districts, and obviously that creates a demand on your staff. With this money, will it mean extra positions?
It will, to some extent. We do plan on using the funds, but we also have to be extremely careful with our funds as well. We have a fiduciary responsibility to our taxpayers. So one of the things that's important, not only in the federal and state parameters on utilizing the funds, but that's important to us is to make sure that the extra support dollars we're getting, are they actually yielding the improved student outcomes that we expect them to do as well? So one of the positions that we're going to be hiring temporarily is a grant manager evaluator of these funds. So when you talk about $45 million, which is the overall amount of funds allocated to Fargo Public Schools over 3 years, we want to make sure that we can evaluate our programs and whether those dollars are actually benefiting students that we said. And if they're not, then we're going to make the tweaks and adjustments along the way. So we do plan on using those funds to hire staff, but we also use it for other things that might not be staff related. And when we do hire staff, we have to recognize that these funds aren't sustainable. They're not part of our district long term. They're for a 3-year cycle. So we have to be able to use them in a way where we know that it might be a short-term position, or it might be staff that we might not be able to have 3 years down the road when the funds run out.
How hard then is it to recruit those staff members? I mean, really what you just described to me is taking a job with a very special skill set that I don't know a year later if I have the job. So how hard is it going to be to recruit people for that?
It's going to be difficult, but at the same point, there's a little nuances to it too as well. For example, one example I can give is that at the elementary level, we are creating what we call a gap coach, and it is a position that is going to be an interventionist to work with some of our students that start the school year furthest behind compared to their classmates, and then they spend the other 50% of that position coaching other teachers. And for example, in that position, we've had a lot of internal applicants that have said, hey, I think I have the skill set. I know that that's a short-lived position, but I want to do it for these next 2 to 3 years or 1 year and then move back to the classroom. So it just depends on the nature of the position that we're talking about. We do have some internal staff that might take it, and then we have to worry about their backfill only having that job for a year or two. while we know that that could be a challenge for some individuals, we also know that there's some individuals looking for positions, and even for the next 2 to 3 years, if we can provide that stability, they'll take it. So far, I haven't heard any significant resistance. I do think that these are a lot of positions that we're posting, and that we are getting some applicants at this time.
So, okay. I'm one of your staff now. I accept one of these positions, look forward to it. And then you get, as you just described it, backfill, somebody to fill in the slot that I was in. Who gets told later on that we don't have the financing or we fixed our problem, and so we don't have a job for you anymore?
Well, I think first and foremost, it's not telling later on. We're very upfront right now with when we post the positions, when we communicate that, hey, these positions are funded by a grant. In the situation where we have an existing staff member, we are going to try to honor, their longevity with Fargo Public Schools, and we're going to put them back into their original position. But the person that backfilled them, we are going to communicate with them, hey, this is a backfilled position because of ESSER funds, so this position may not be there in 2 to 3 years, and we communicate that right now, even starting with the job posting itself.
Okay, I understand. How far have the kids fallen behind? There's no way they're ahead, obviously. I mean, they didn't have as much FaceTime with the instructors. They didn't have as much. And I realize Fargo Public School System did everything they could to keep kids in the classroom. And I think you have to take a step back, Dr. Gandhi, and call it a success. I know there were some bumps in the road and some parents mad about mask wearing and that type of thing. But the one thing you have to admit, or at least I will from the outside looking in, is that you were able to pull it off, and so how far did the kids fall behind? Have you had a chance to evaluate that yet?
Yeah, it's hard to make a generalized statement. We've had some students that flourished and some students that fell further behind. Unfortunately, that's the nature of every year in the work that we do. We're trying to create, a universal system that allows to meet the individual learning needs of every different student. And the reality of the situation is that every year there's more for some students that we could be doing. There might be a larger group of those students this year. I can't make that generalization of how far, because it's just different for each student, but we do take a look at our data. One of the things that we've looked at is, this past year at our elementary level, we know that we're going to be looking at our math curriculum. That might have been an area where our data is showing, well, the COVID environment didn't allow for some continuity there that we expected students to demonstrate. So we're going to focus our reteaching abilities on that. It might be a little bit different for middle school. It might be a little bit different for high school. So part of our process is really understanding, assessing each student at the start of each school year, understanding where their needs are, and then making sure that we can provide that right support. And that's what these dollars are going to allow us to do that.
I just think that's amazing, because the job that your staff did in these tough circumstances, and quite frankly, I personally believe that the job that a lot of people did in different public school systems is just amazing in what had to be some of the toughest circumstances. Want to talk a little bit, if we can, about, how the school systems themselves get to a place this fall where you're comfortable with some semblance of going back to normal. Are you going to require, for example, and I know you can't, but how are you going to work it with teachers that choose not to be vaccinated?
As an employer, we have not made that a requirement. We're not soliciting that information. We provided an opportunity for all of our staff to be vaccinated. Just from the data that we have from the individuals that decided to take advantage of the opportunity, through the, as an employer, through the opportunity, we know that we had a large portion of our staff take advantage of that. So we're extremely grateful for that. We work from the mindset that, we are working locally with our local healthcare agencies and local epidemiologists and following their guidance. And we understand that guidance has changed over time. But as of right now, our Smart Restart plan was suspended by the board based on the recommendation from Fargo Public Health and the epidemiologists we work with. So we are planning, unless something changes, to return to the best of our ability at new normal to the next school year. We're going to allow masks to be optional for our students. And as of now, we are seeing some successes because of our community's ability to get vaccinated and do what they need to do to keep kids in school. And we're extremely grateful for that.
How many cases of kids calling in and saying, can't come into school today, I've got the flu? Did that number go down quite a bit in the last year?
You know, I don't have that data offhand, but not to my knowledge. I mean, I would have to look at the data to see, you know, what specific absentee codes led to students that called in because they were sick last year.
The only reason I ask is because nationwide there was an argument that mask wearing really knocked down the case of the flu. Is there anything positive that came out of this in terms of, you know, let me give you an example. My wife has a big staff that she manages. They started obviously working from home. There's a lot of real positives that came out in that. There are individuals that were more productive even in a home setting, and the cost of the office space, everything else that goes with it. Are there positives in the public school system that you've evaluated and you look back on and say, wait, you know, here's something that works?
Joel, and feel free to cut me off because I can speak on positives for days. I think first and foremost, you touched on it, which is our staff. Our staff have been absolutely incredible in Fargo Public Schools. What they did to provide an educational environment for all of our students, focusing on our students and what their needs were, not just the academic side, but making sure that we provided wraparound services for every kid that needed during this pandemic was nothing short of a miracle. And that is truly a reflection of the dedication of our staff. I think secondly, we often tend to use just schooling as a little bit of a deficit mindset when we're only just talking about the learning loss. But the reality of the situation is that what we learned during this past year is that not only are our students resilient, our community comes together, and that our students learn. They learn how to be adaptive and be flexible during a global pandemic while having additional stressors both in their family lives, teachers having stressors in their lives as well. And we were still able to finish out the school year strong. And I think that just talks about our community. We've seen it in our community when we've had to shut down schools to fight the flood in the past. And this was a little bit no different. And I have no doubt that our students and our staff are better because of it. So the positives to me are just countless. I think the fact that a school district our size and a community our size, we were able to return to in-person instruction for all of the second semester for all of our students just speaks volumes to how incredible the individuals are. And that's a testament to our staff, our community, our parents, and everyone that supported us.
Okay, well, I'm going to hold you to that because I'd love to get a chance to visit with you some more about what those positives are. If you can, quickly tell people how they can get in touch or apply for some of the positions you just talked about.
Absolutely. If you go to the Fargo Public Schools website, which is fargo.k12.nd.us, under Human Resources, you can access all of our vacancies as well. We also have a COVID-19 website where you can see our plan of how we're using these dollars and also provide input. We have a survey out there as well for individuals that want to take a look at our plan, which we call our continuity of service plan, on how we're going to plan to use federal aid that we're getting on different positions and how to support our students. So all of that information is available. You can apply for a position if you're looking for something, or you can provide information on our survey about how to use those dollars if you have some great ideas as well. So thank you very much.
Dr. Gandhi, always good to talk to you, sir. Thank you.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure.
When we come back, let's head to the North Dakota Health Department. Let's find out what our COVID numbers are today, right here as we go down the road.
Howdy folks, it's a Caroline Cafe. I reckon it's time you're due for a hearty meal. So saddle up for the day with one of our Hay Boston breakfast and homemade soups. Fill your grill at our salad bar, sink your teeth into our famous Caroline burger and barbecue ribs. Top it off with spoon rattling pie with a calm roll that's sure to put a smile on even the toughest outlaws. Shake the dirt off the boots each night and warm up with the gang. Tell them about it, Stacy.
I can't wait to see you at the county line.
Hi, it's me, Anthony Sullivan. And yes, you've actually caught me at home relaxing because life's been pretty worry-free since I got coverage with American Residential Warranty.
You won't believe what ARW covers. Heating and air conditioning, washers and dryers, kitchen appliances, plumbing, water heaters, electrical systems, flat screens and laptops, even pools and spas, and so much more.
Call American Residential Warranty. They'll get you covered.
1-800-219-1467.
Hi, Hunter Ellis here for Night Hero Binoculars by Atomic Beam. These binoculars let you see anything, even in pitch black darkness. Gotcha. The secrets are powerful wide-angle atomic beam laser that reveals objects up to 150 yards away, hidden by darkness. During the day, Night Hero gives you 10 times magnification. And when the sun goes down, press the Night Bright button to see clearly in the dark. Light up garbage-eating critters or spot thieves before they even get close. Call or click now and get Night Hero binoculars for just $39.99. Order right now and you can double it. Plus, get our best-selling atomic beam flashlight. Just pay a separate fee. We'll even ship them to you free. This TV special offer is not available on Amazon. You can get it all, but you have to order now.
Call 1-800-619-1091. That's 1-800-619-1091. Or visit bynighthero.com. That's bynighthero.com. Order now.
Attention! Have you or a loved one suffered from maculopathy, a serious retinal injury, after taking the prescription drug Almiron for interstitial cystitis or bladder pain syndrome? In 2018, a researcher at the Emory School of Medicine linked Almiron, a prescription drug that treats interstitial cystitis or bladder pain syndrome, to maculopathy, which is sight-threatening and can cause an abrupt change of vision. Call Almiron Justice for a free legal consultation.
Please call 800-395-5680.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms. This drug remains approved by the FDA. If you or a loved one regularly took Zantac and were later diagnosed with cancer, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. Potential cancers include bladder cancer, colon cancer, kidney cancer, stomach cancer, liver cancer, pancreatic cancer. Do not stop taking a prescribed medication without first consulting with your doctor. Discontinuing a prescribed medication without your doctor's advice can result in injury or death.
Call 1-800-230-9210.
He's one of those guys, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. He's one of those individuals that was in a classroom with you and you said, wow, is he smart? Because he is. He's gone about his study. He's gotten to the place he has with his career because he understands infectious disease. In fact, he's a specialist when it comes to it. Dr. Avish Nagpal is with us with Sanford Health. Dr. Nagpal, good to have you coming down the road with us.
Thank you, Joe.
Want to talk to you a little bit about the Delta variant when it comes to COVID. A lot of people just brushing it aside, saying, you know, look, this variant is no different than what I would say normal COVID, and it's not anything else to worry about. It's not going to risk me as somebody who hasn't been vaccinated. Is any of that true?
So, you know, like all answers in life, this answer is also a little bit complicated. Some part of that is kind of true because as we have the infection persist over a long period of time, the virus will shift its shape. But at the same time, we have to realize why this is called a variant of concern. Now, we have a situation where half the population is vaccinated and half the population is not vaccinated. So what will happen is the virus, just like us, tries to survive, tries to, adjust to its environment. We as humans, what we do to adjust to our environments is we build houses, we build air conditioning, we build heat to save ourselves from the elements. Viruses and bacteria do this by mutating. When you put pressure on them, whether it's treatment, whether it's vaccine, they are also in this to survive. So when they see the vaccine and the treatments, they try to adjust for it. The way we can prevent that is by vaccinating everybody so they are not able to jump from one person to another. But as long as they have an opportunity to jump from one host to another, there will always be a chance of mutation. And that mutation can either make them more transmissible or, God forbid, make them escape the vaccine effects, protective effects, or the treatment that we have. So in order to get rid of this completely, we have to make sure that we vaccinate as many people as possible so that there is no opportunity for the virus to jump from one person to another, or at least limit that kind of opportunity. When you have widespread invasion of the virus in a community and it's jumping around from person to person, you will see that there will always be escape mutants, and these are called variants of concern. So far, CDC has elevated alpha, beta, gamma, delta, 4 of them. We are lucky so far that most of them are still protected by the vaccine, and for most of them, we have some treatments. They may not be great treatments, but at least we have moderately effective treatment.
So, if I can, you said define as many people as possible. There was always the number thrown out of 70% vaccinated. What's that number today? What would you define as, look, we've achieved some goals here?
Yeah. So what has happened with this Delta variant is when we dealt with the Alpha variant, it increased the transmissibility of the virus by a notch. The Delta variant takes it to another level. For every person who's getting infected, Delta variant can infect 6 or 8 more people as compared to 2 or 3 that were being infected by the original virus back in December 2019, January 2020. So that 70% number comes from a transmissibility rate of 2 to 3 from every infection. But when you have a transmissibility rate of 6 to 8 people with every infection, you obviously need to immunize a higher number of individuals, and that number should now be ramped up to 80 or 90% to achieve herd immunity. 70% people vaccinated for herd immunity is a redundant number. It's not going to work in our favor now, and we are going to see a spike in cases come fall, just like we saw last year if we don't have enough people immunized. And in order to reach that 80 to 90% people getting vaccinated, we really have to have kids vaccinated now. The clinical trials are going on to make sure the vaccine is safe and effective in kids younger than 12 years age. But the kids who are already eligible for vaccine, 12 and above, they should get vaccinated as soon as possible.
So you're comfortable, because a lot of people are saying that kids don't need to be vaccinated, that they don't put themselves at risk by not being vaccinated. But if what I'm hearing you is right, is the fact that kids put us at risk by not being vaccinated.
Yes, that's correct. So, we often mistake vaccine as individual protection effort. It is not. It's a public health protection that vaccines offer. And kids have a tendency, or younger people have a tendency to think that they are not going to get sick by this virus. That's not true. Not only are you going to get sick by the virus, you also are able to spread it to other people. And as we vaccinate more of our elderly population, we will artificially shift the epidemiology of the virus to the point where it will start causing more infection in the kids, because that's the population that's more susceptible now, since many of the elderly people have been vaccinated. And we have seen that play out in the hospital too, while we were averaging an age of 70 years. Back with the first wave, now we are seeing people in their 40s and 50s getting vaccinated. And as more and more individuals of this age group get vaccinated, the virus will continue to circulate in the population groups that are not vaccinated yet. So every day we are seeing patients in their 20s and 30s in the hospital, some people in their 30s dying from the virus. So no age group is safe from this virus. Yes, some people may have lower risk factors, but that doesn't mean it's a guarantee that your infection will be mild or asymptomatic.
When you talk about individuals vaccinated and what numbers you used, which is 80 to 90% now with some of the variants, is part of that equation individuals that have had COVID? Let me give you an example. If I've had both COVID and the vaccine, so if I had COVID and not taken the vaccine, would I then be an individual that would help get us to that 80 to 90%?
Yeah, so that's another excellent question. And honestly, I don't know the answer to that. The reason I don't know the answer to that is because we don't know how long the immunity lasts from a natural infection and whether that immunity is protective against the variants. For the vaccines, we have data. What we do is we take the blood from people who are infected with the variants and mix them with the lab-grown variant and see whether that immunity is protective against the virus, against the variant or not. So for vaccinated people, when we mix their serum with the variant, it looks like that immunity works, the vaccine works, it has protective effect against the variants. But with a natural infection, we do not know whether it will protect you against the variant. Also, we don't know how long the immunity will last. For the vaccine, we are demonstrating that immunity will last for a long period of time. And so far, there is no talk of a booster for waning immunity from a vaccination. But we don't have the same information for a natural infection. You presume that it will last, and I'm kind of want to count those people who have had infection as being immune, but we have more data that vaccine has a better protective effect as compared to the natural infection. And if you look at what's the downside of getting a vaccine, just a pain and soreness at the injection site for a couple days, that's a very minor side effect as compared to what the protection you might get from the vaccine.
Well, I got up in the morning, and after my vaccination, I rubbed my arm, and my wife said, "Does your arm hurt?" And I said, "Well, kind of." And I found out I was rubbing the wrong arm. So it definitely didn't hurt that bad. I want to give you an example in this little bit of time we have left, Nagpal. I had an individual that I know, quite well in Wahpeton, young man, early 40s, young family, beautiful family. That individual wouldn't get vaccinated, didn't feel he had to get vaccinated. He contracted COVID, and he was on a respirator for over 10 days. So it's still out there. And this man, for people are asking questions in their head, about as in shape as what you can get, and ended up on a ventilator for over 10 days. So I don't know what variant, I just know this. A lot of us were praying for his life. So it's out there, Dr. Nagpal.
Yeah, it's out there and it's not going anywhere. And as we open up our economy, as we open up our businesses, as we go back to in-person concerts and sports, our stadiums full up, we will have more opportunities for transmission and we will see an increase in cases. The downward trend that we are seeing right now is kind of a golden period right now where your risk is relatively lower just because of falling numbers and increasing vaccination. But make no mistakes about it, more gatherings will lead to higher number of cases, and more higher number of cases will lead to more variants. And at some point of time, we are going to see a variant that will become a variant of high consequence, which means that either the vaccine is not protective against it, or the treatments that we have don't work against it. And the only way to prevent that situation is to vaccinate as many people as possible.
Dr. Nagpal, thank you. Thank you for carrying that message, and thank you for giving us time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
When we come back, we're going to have a discussion with the Attorney General, not with, because he turned us down. He won't talk to us. And I think I'll give you a good example of why he wouldn't talk to us when we come back right here down the road.
Hey everybody, I'm Doug Billings, your host of The Right Side with Doug Billings on Beck News. We bring you high-profile guests, ladies and gentlemen, exclusive guests. Now, you're not going to see these guests in most of the mainstream media outlets. Another thing that I do here is give guests a platform to speak freely. You're not going to see me censor anybody. Please join us, won't you? Weeknights right here on Beck TV and online at beck.news. Cheers.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream sheets. When you buy one set of sheets, you'll get another set absolutely free.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com. Introducing the Cool Turtle, the ultra-comfortable mask enhancer that creates a protective, cool, and breathable space between your mask and your face. Simply slide under any mask or gaiter and immediately feel the refreshing pocket of air surrounding your face. Cool Turtle's ergonomically designed, soft, comfortable shell immediately reduces mask friction, allowing you to breathe and talk in a comfortable environment.
I can actually breathe. With the Cool Turtle, no more sweating.
It's like I don't even have a mask on.
Call now and get not one, not two, but 3 Cool Turtles for just $10. Order now and we'll send you 2 more Cool Turtles free. No fees, absolutely free. Plus, you can get a 10-pack of 4-ply face masks. Just pay a separate fee. This offer is not available on Amazon. Get the real Cool Turtle now.
Call 1-800-270-1219. That's 1-800-270-1219. Or visit getcoolturtle.com. Order now.
We're the ladies of Another View, bringing you a fresh view on local issues. Thank you for your patience and understanding.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that the most condescending, rude email you've ever received?
Well, welcome to
National
the
news.
third term of a certain president. I really believe that.
And different perspectives you won't get on the mainstream media. Watch us weekday afternoons at 4:30 Central Time on Beck News and at beck.news.
Hey Bucks fans, if you're planning an outing, birthday, or employee appreciation night, then bring your group out to the Buck Stop for a night of fast-paced, high-scoring football. Your group will receive discounted tickets, options for reserved seating, scoreboard messages, VIP services, swag, and a space to gather during the game. You can also participate in pre-game ceremonies, halftime entertainment, in-game contests, and more. Call 701-595-0771 or visit bismarckbucks.com/tickets. All GA is first come, first serve. We'll see you on the turf. Go Bucks!
In a little bit, we're going to get joined by Shannon McQuade. Shannon McQuade is somebody I've known for a lot of years, and I just am amazed at the job she and her family do when it comes to just good old-fashioned fun, softball. I played it for a lot of years, and so I've known about the McQuade tournament, and we'll get a chance to visit with her in just a second, but I've got to get this off my chest. Many of you are going to say, all right, well, invite him to come on then, Joel. Have a little debate with him. He won't do it. He won't do it. Wayne Stenjum will not come on. And the reason he won't come on is because this interviewer will not just sit there and ask him questions that make him comfortable. I won't do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to ask him questions that make him answer for the job he's done. I'm going to give you 4 instances. 4 instances that should make you scratch your head. The first being the Affordable Care Act. Wayne Stenjum threw in with other states to take on the Affordable Care Act. It made its way all the way to the United States Supreme Court. Now, did Wayne Stenjum win that case? No. He lost that case by a 7-2 margin. Now, you folks that are watching, you're pretty informed. You know what the makeup of the Supreme Court is. The makeup of the Supreme Court right now is 7-2. Conservative. Very conservative. Well, Wayne Stenjum lost. He couldn't make the argument that the Affordable Care Act should go away. He put the reputation and the name of North Dakota behind that, and he lost. So that's 0 for 1. Let me give you another one. The election fraud case. They decided to sue Georgia. That's right. He threw in with some other attorney generals and decided, you know what, we're going to take on Georgia. That was out of this side of the mouth. By the other side of the mouth, he said states should run elections. The federal government shouldn't run elections. It should be left to the states. Which one is it? Which one is it? Do you believe that states like Georgia should be able to run their own elections? States like Georgia that have had a number of recounts that have proven, in this case, big time, that the votes were counted and President Trump, or then President Trump, lost. He lost. Well, Wayne's kicking pebbles and he's pouting and he's mad. So why not sue Georgia? Here's what happened. He lost. He lost. So once again, he put the name and reputation of the state of North Dakota behind a lawsuit suing a state over their process of electing an individual, and he lost. That puts North Dakota 0 for 2. Now, let me give you another example. Susan Bala with the Racing Commission. This is some years back, but some of you are going to remember her name. Susan Bala ran the horse racing industry in the state of North Dakota, which, you know, is an industry that always leaves people scratching their head. But I'm not somebody that bets on the ponies. I'm somebody who believes that people can bet on the ponies. But Susan Bala had the horse industry taking off, or the horse betting industry taking off in the state of North Dakota. Wayne Stenjum and Drew Wrigley took on Susan Bala, and they got her convicted. That's right. So that's a win, right? So, well, wait a second. Let's see if it's a win, because Susan Bala was in jail for at least 18 months. In jail for 18 months. It blew up her life, blew up her finances. You know, what she had before that was all gone by the time she came out of it. And so Susan Bala argued it, went against it, made an appeal, and after 18 months of serving a much longer sentence, she was released from prison and found to be not guilty. So yeah, what was a win was taken away and is a loss. Now, let me give you another example of how big of a loss that was. That came at the end of a legislative session. And at the end of that legislative session, word got out that in a civil lawsuit Susan Bala brought against the state of North Dakota, she had won $15 million. That's your money. That's your tax money. $15 million. Now they're fighting whether or not to give her the money. That's fine. She's going to get money out of it. She is. But the North Dakota legislature had to, at the very end of a session, appropriate money so that when that check was written to Susan Bala, it would be there. That's a loss. Not just a loss of the lawsuit, it's a loss of $15 million. All that, and I'm not even talking about a payloader in Forbes, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, wait a minute. Just one second. I'll tell you about that. There was a stolen payloader in Forbes, except the man that had it wasn't guilty of stealing it. And so Wayne Stenjum and others stormed in there and they took away the payloader. It's stolen property. Here's the thing. They don't know where it is. They don't know where they put it. It's gone. Never to be seen again. They were in charge of a payloader. And the payloader's gone. Are you starting to wonder why Wayne Stenjum won't come down the road with us? You're probably going to see him on another one of the shows on this network. And you're going to see people kissing part of him that I'll never kiss. When we come back, Shannon McQuade right after this.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors. Use your promo code, and for a limited time, when you buy one set of sheets, you'll get another set absolutely free.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms. This drug remains approved by the FDA. If you or a loved one regularly took Zantac and were later diagnosed with cancer, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. Potential cancers include bladder cancer, colon cancer, kidney cancer, stomach cancer, liver cancer, pancreatic cancer. Do not stop taking a prescribed medication without first consulting with your doctor. Discontinuing a prescribed medication without your doctor's advice can result in injury or death.
Call 1-800-230-9210.
Seniors, are you aware that you could pay less for your car insurance?
Seniors can save money on their car insurance.
You might save a little, you might save a lot.
maybe hundreds of dollars a year.
You might save 5% a year, maybe 10%, 15%, or even more.
That's a lot of money.
So call right now and find out just how much money you might be able to save.
1-800-699-0761. 1-800-699-0761.
Hi, it's me, Anthony Sullivan. And yes, you've actually caught me at home relaxing because life's been pretty worry-free since I got coverage with American Residential Warranty.
You won't believe what ARW covers. Heating and air conditioning, washers and dryers, kitchen appliances, plumbing, water heaters, electrical systems, flat screens and laptops, even pools and spas, and so much more.
Call American Residential Warranty. They'll get you covered.
1-800-219-1467.
I'm Rick Becker from No Apologies. Welcome to your after-hours oasis of sanity. How can these people not see that they're just clowns?
We help simplify and educate you on things going on in the legislature and around the country.
Asking the hard-hitting questions.
But also having Lee Stack and Sid and Marty Croft stuff, and we've talked about that sometimes. It's bad.
Watch us weeknights at 9 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
We're hoping to hook up in a little bit with Shannon McQuade-Ely. Now, the McQuade Softball Tournament, the McQuade family, let's begin there. The McQuade family is absolutely tremendous. Big fan. Her grandfather, Sam McQuade, was the one that started the McQuade Softball Tournament. Now, I started playing softball when I was still playing American Legion baseball. Most would say, why? You shouldn't be doing that. Well, I did. And the reason I did was because the Mandan men's team was short players. And they needed some players. So they went down and basically went down to the Junior Legion level and said, hey, can these couple of guys play some softball with us? Mom and Dad were scratching their heads, but Dad was a longtime coach of amateur baseball and softball, and he had played a lot himself. So he said, if it's going to keep the team in town and going to keep them going, go ahead. Start playing softball. He just said, you're riding separate. You're not riding with those guys to and from the game. I think you know why that was. But I started playing softball. So that was about 17. I quit playing softball way later, after about 2 knee surgeries. And so, softball's been part of my life, my family's life. I've won some state tournaments. My daughters have won some state tournaments. I love it. Absolutely love it. And the McQuade tournament was part of our life. It really was. It was a place that was like this melting pot, ladies and gentlemen. It was a place where all of us that love softball not only got to go play softball, but hang out, meet friends, play against teams you didn't even know, which always wasn't, that wasn't the norm always. So that wouldn't have happened without Sam McQuade. And that tradition has continued. I've known Shannon McQuade-Ely for a long, long time. And I shouldn't say too long. She's way younger than me. But I will tell you this. She's kept that tradition alive that her family started. Let's bring her in. Shannon, good to have you coming down the road with us.
Thanks for having me join you.
Let me just say this. Thanks for having the tournament. That has been so much fun for me for years, and it's still going on now, though, obviously.
Yeah, obviously last year was a major hiccup. It was supposed to be our 45th annual, and we had to make that tough decision along with a lot of other events, right, last year. So I was just telling my husband yesterday, I said, this week is either the best week or the worst week, all one combined, because it's so busy, but at the end of it, it's just so enjoyable. And for us to have it back this year after skipping last year, there's no bad week for it. This week is going to be great.
You're right about that. Anytime you're playing ball, there's no bad week for it. Describe to people the size, growing up around this tournament, seeing what your grandfather and your father and you have been able to accomplish through the years.
Yeah, so it started in 1976 with 100 teams, and I was just telling one of our Anheuser-Busch reps that had not really heard about it very much in the past, that we have 425 teams joining us this year, which is actually down, and she was just amazed at that. And she was amazed that it started off at 100. So to have 100 teams in 1976 grow to, I think at the most, we had a tournament hit 477, and that was with some troops playing overseas. But this year, getting back to nearly normal on the team count was really exciting for us. We weren't sure with some of the states not opening quite as fast as good old North Dakota. Basically, we're down the men's open division, which we were not able to put together this year, just based on different reasons, not just because of COVID regulations, but then also obviously the Canadian border still being closed. We usually get about a dozen Canadian teams. So we're only down about 20 versus 2019 at 425 teams. So it's going to seem normal. It's just absolutely going to seem normal again this year, which I think is going to be great for a lot of people.
Explain to people the divisions, because when people think, okay, it's a softball tournament, they just assume everybody falls into that same category. To get 425 teams this year, there has to be a lot of divisions to it.
Right. So I guess I could reference our program, but we have men's divisions and women's divisions. There are no co-ed divisions. Women's goes from rec divisions all the way up to women's top level. The one level we were not able to fulfill this year for men's, it starts at Rec 4 and goes all the way up. In the past, we've had, we usually get about 4 to 6 teams in that men's open division. There aren't a lot of top ranked teams in the state of North Dakota. There's only one, so we have to get teams from out of state. Oftentimes the teams in that men's open division are playing for money. This one, they play for a charity, for a trophy. They're always willing to do that. It's just different scheduling conflicts didn't work it out. I know Jack Jones, our tournament co-director, works, and Mike Wolf worked very hard at making that division work out for us. But at the same time, it was able to open up some diamond space for our men's rec 3 and 4 divisions, which fill up fast and generally have a waiting list. And that's really the meat of the tournament, right, is the lower rec teams. My son is playing in his second tournament. He's only 18 years old, and that's pretty exciting that, he can play. There's some scrubs from high school, and they're not very good, but they still get to play in the tournament and have a good time.
The open division was the one that all of us would flock to, though. We just had to see why they were so much better than us. And actually, North Dakota fared pretty well in that open division for a lot of years.
Yes, they still have a team, like I said, that puts it together. Same with the women's top division. But it takes other states to participate in order to fulfill that, just because of rules and regulations. I'm more on the charity side and more on the promotion side. The softball rules and the softball people have always fascinated me. Very competitive group at that upper level. Very fun to watch for sure, but there's still a lot of softball even without that. We have the USA Patriots amputee softball team they won it in 2019, so they have to move up a division to Rec 3. So they'll be back this year defending and trying to win another championship in a higher level. So they're really amazing to watch, but I just kind of like people watching myself. So if you're not a softball fan, it's great for people watching as well.
There's somebody both near and dear to us that pitches in the special needs game that always happens, and so I love that. I love the fact that you've got veterans, you got special needs, you've got a lot of things going on that just give people all a chance to take part and have fun.
Right. So the last many years, we've had this Special Olympics game that you're referring to. It's a featured game right before we start setting up the trophies on Sunday at noon. And yes, Jack Michaels, he's always pitched in that. He is not able to pitch this year. I believe there's a Red Hawks game that won't allow him to come back to Bismarck for that. So he will be missed dearly by those athletes as well. And I like to heckle him personally. But we also have another exhibition game that will feature our first responders, kind of a celebrity first responders game that will happen on Friday night after the USA Patriots first game at the main complex. And Again, we've had that game in the past. It's been a military appreciation game, but this year it's a little extra special just because it's first responders, and after the pandemic and everything everybody's gone through this in 2020 and into 2021. I mean, I think it's just going to be an extra special game to be able to really raise those folks up. And then we also have a cancer awareness game that is in memory to Connie Wolf, who is married and has since passed away from breast cancer, which I know is also near and dear to your heart as a cause. But she was very special to the umpires, married to Mike Wolf, our tournament co-director, and just was so special and such a big part of this tournament that we wanted to do a memorial game for her, and that's been going on for the last several years as well.
Just think of the coordination, ladies and gentlemen, 425 teams. Making sure you have a diamond, you have a schedule, you know where to go, you know the umpires are going to be there, the field is ready. Shannon, I don't know how you do it, but whatever your grandpa started, you need to look at your dad, you need to look at everybody else and say thanks a lot, because there's a lot of work to do here.
Yeah, I don't do much of anything. As far as the coordination is concerned, we have a board of directors that puts this tournament together, led by Mike Wolf, Jack Jones, Cheryl Jones. We just have LD Ulmer and Norland Schmidt that are in charge of a big chunk of the volunteers. Mike Offerdahl and Brooke Larson, Mike Wolf's daughter. I mean, we each have a special part of the tournament that we help coordinate, but definitely the teams, the diamonds, and the umpires are what makes this thing go round. So at the end of the day, if that's not working smoothly, it's a year-long process for everyone, for sure.
Well, it's my job on this show to make sure I call people out when they're not telling the truth, and Shannon isn't telling the truth. She does a lot. She does a lot. Yeah,
so not much.
Yeah, right.
I drink a few beers that weekend. So.
Budweiser, right?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Shannon. Thanks for coming on with us.
I appreciate you having me on. Thank you for promoting this tournament. Just very special to our community. Thank you.
Special to all of us, even old players. So when we come back, some closing comments for you right here as we go down the road.
Do you worry about going to the dentist? After all, a visit to the dentist can easily cost $2,000 or more. Well, relax. The Carefree Dental Card is now available in your area. Call now and we'll send your actual card at no cost today. With the Carefree Dental Card, you go to the dentist whenever you need and you instantly pay a lot less. Activate your card and you can start using it immediately. From exams and cleanings to more expensive procedures like crowns, dentures, even braces, they're all included with the Carefree Dental Card. Say you go to the dentist today without any card and your bill is, well, ouch. Wait a minute, let's try that again. You go to the dentist today and show your Carefree Dental Card, you save $525. The Carefree Dental Card is just $15.95 a month, so call now and make going to the dentist carefree.
Call 1-800-416-5739 to receive your Carefree Dental Card information kit. 1-800-416-5739. Call now.
I can't say enough good things about these nano hearing aids.
Real people talking about nano hearing aids.
The hearing quality is great.
Until now, hearing aids used to be too expensive for the average person. Until nano. Call now and you'll get your nano hearing aids for only $297. You'll save $100. When you buy one hearing aid, Nano will give you a second hearing aid free. Call right now.
1-800-213-3815.
Spas, etc.
You've come to know and trust us for over 18 years with the largest selection and showroom in Western North Dakota for our beautiful Sundance spas. Plus, you can pick out your next home experience with our selection of pool tables, shuffleboards, and fun accessories.
Spas, etc. Your relaxation destination on Main and Bismarck.
Who do you trust with your digital life? Not all cloud backup providers keep your data truly private.
Beck Cloud Backup uses advanced multi-layer encryption to keep your family photos, videos, and sensitive business documents secure and only for your eyes. Your Beck Lightband Internet service already includes 50 gigs of free storage to keep your digital life safe and secure. Call us at 701-475-2361 to start using your Beck Cloud Backup today.
Attention! Have you or a loved one suffered from maculopathy, a serious retinal injury, after taking the prescription drug Almiron for interstitial cystitis or bladder pain syndrome? In 2018, a researcher at the Emory School of Medicine linked Almiron, a prescription drug that treats interstitial cystitis or bladder pain syndrome, to maculopathy, which is sight-threatening and can cause an abrupt change of vision. Call Almiron Justice for a free legal consultation.
Please call 800-395-5680.
We're almost there in this trip down the road. Just some closing comments for you. Time for a challenge. I double dog dare him. How's that? I dare Wayne Stengham to come on this show. He's the Attorney General of the state of North Dakota. He has entered into lawsuits on behalf of the state of North Dakota and has lost all of them. Near as I can tell, all of the big ones, right? And one even costing the state of North Dakota $15 million. Not 15,000, not 150,000, $15 million. So I dare him. Wayne, if you're listening, come on the show. Let's have a conversation. I'll be polite, but I will guarantee you this. I'm going to ask you questions that you're going to have to answer that are going to be uncomfortable. I'm not going to do an interview where basically I say, Wayne, you've done a great job as Attorney General, and I realize that you were taking on the Affordable Care Act, and it's a socialist program, and you know what about the Affordable Care Act? 30+ million people count on it every day for their health insurance. You know what else? Many people that are watching right now have needed it because there were pre-existing conditions that you've had, but you're able to get insurance now because of the Affordable Care Act. You're able to move from one job to the other because of the Affordable Care Act. And you're able to keep that 24-year-old child on your health insurance, right? So they're going to college and they still can be on your health insurance thanks to the Affordable Care Act. Why did you take it on? And why did you lose if you were going to take it on? I double dog dare you, Wayne. Come on this show.